Before it was literally the biggest game on the planet, Minecraft used to be a little indie game with little indie trailers like this one by Faraday, which was just pure Minecraft gameplay in an attempt to show you why they loved Minecraft, and it totally worked. Millions fell in love with this trailer, where the only lie is this line.
No one can tell you what you can or cannot do.
Because I mean, have you seen the rules, what you can and can't say in chat nowadays? But more seriously, modern Minecraft trailers are pre-rendered cinematics, and they're filled with inconsistencies and things that don't make sense in the base game. From bluestone to volcano structures to throwable swords that just don't exist in the base game, Minecraft trailers nowadays are filled with these slight, let's call them disingenuous moments, or perhaps misleading moments, or just straight up lies. Minecraft trailers are filled with things that don't make sense in the base game, that aren't in the products that they're advertising, and I wanted to go through all of these examples because sure, they are made by an outside studio, but that doesn't mean that if these outside studios know they can better market Minecraft with any of these things, why don't they tell the Minecraft team that this is the most important thing? I'm just saying, when you look at, for instance, this trailer, the Cats and Pandas trailer, you can see there are bamboo cups and mugs which aren't in the main update. There is no way to make little cups for yourself, and sure, of course, it doesn't make any sense that you need a pot, but then why show it in the trailer? Why do we have to have these trailers which are mostly made up of real things, but then have these extra things thrown on top? If it's all about imagination being key, then make up everything in the trailer. I mean, you can imagine the right blocks, or you can imagine the right cups, but when it comes to things like the next example of trailers, the Village and Pillage update, this is when things got a little bit silly in my opinion, because in this trailer, not only do they show a raid entirely incorrectly, we'll get to that in a second, they also show a villager who opens the shutters on his window and kind of peeps out to throw maps at the player. I mean, shutters on windows would be a really cool feature, a way to keep the light in and out during the day, would it not? I mean, again, it's solely there for the idea of role-playing, but why does everything else in this trailer have to be real, including having trapdoors beyond the edges of plants? Like, they're using very real things with just a few artistic liberties, and sometimes those artistic liberties don't even add up to the sense of the plot. I mean, what is this item on the ground right here that you can see? I genuinely don't know. You can see there's like a baby villager in the Java style, and then just in the middle of this building, there's a lantern maybe, but with an entirely different design. I genuinely have no clue. It is very, very strange in my opinion. But yeah, as you can, also there's a villager kicking a slime. This trailer is just filled with inconsistencies, but when the raid starts, that's when things get really crazy in my opinion, because the pillagers raiding the village do it in an entirely unrealistic way. They haven't honked their horn first of all, this isn't coming out of nowhere, there's not a ton of mobs running after them. But what makes it even worse is when the player, using their sword, starts to attack the villagers and then just decides to throw it at one of the pillagers. Again, if you want to make Minecraft combat cool, use features that are in there, or if you think Minecraft combat can't be shown as cool, then add in those cool features. We've been waiting for a combat update for a while anyway, right? I feel as though doing this like 99% real, but then embellishing just a small amount of the details, doesn't make a huge amount of sense. In fact, I would say it makes the least amount of sense. Yeah, it just means that these trailers feel really, really strange in my opinion, because yeah, like he launches a you see how it ends? He launches a firework into the sky there, and you know, like that's a real thing you can actually do, so what was the point? Why not make it a cooler firework? I don't understand this line that they're treading. If we go back into this trailer just a second after that firework though, you'll see something really interesting that you might already recognize, which is that when the villagers are throwing out items at the players as a reward, the villager in the background also decides to throw this, a piece of bluestone, as you can see right there above the emerald. It is redstone but colored blue. And so this is the only time we've ever had an explanation for these trailer inconsistencies, because there was a whole excitement in the community that they're clearly going to add bluestone because these trailers are accurate to regular Minecraft. Sometimes the movement of the players isn't true, etc, etc, but it turned out that yeah, actually the animation studio they hired had this error, which they included in there, the redstone being blue, and they just forgot to correct it. These trailers are made by an outside team. That's when we kind of learned this, and that's when you realize that, oh yeah, they're marketing Minecraft trailers from people who haven't necessarily got the Minecraft experience to know that redstone isn't blue. I mean, think about that for a second. Redstone isn't blue is something that might seem like it's very tricky if you don't know what English is, maybe? That's the only way I can think about it. What's the difference between... long story short, it's very, very dumb, and this is where the origin of all these things come from. However, despite this huge confusion that it creates in the community, despite that, it seems as though they found this to be a very popular trailer style, and so they went ahead and they used it again for the Buzzy Bees update, and so, what's wrong with this trailer? Nothing. It's a really nice trailer that shows Minecraft entirely accurately, except, this is a video about inconsistencies. Well, I mean, as you can see, there's nothing wrong so far. It's actually a very cute little trailer until you realize that, wait a minute, look at that background. Look at the amazingness of this world. Do you see how high those mountains are? Those mountains must be 400, 500, 600 blocks high. In fact, if we play a little more, you can see the bee is about to go down a waterfall that is 100 blocks tall. Even now, after all this time, because they did go ahead and add a Caves and Cliffs update because they saw the excitement this trailer caused, even now we don't have waterfalls that look like this, that look actually natural and have rivers going from high to low. It has been now 3 years since this update trailer came out, and so many of the cool features which were so great for marketing, which, by the way, an update that turned out to be just bees, so many of these features and ended up just being like, oh yeah, we just use them because it makes the bees more exciting. And it's like, well, is that the point of trailers? Should it be, should it be all about that? I don't know if it necessarily should be. And you know what's even crazier? The fact that not only is it the terrain being different, but also in this trailer you can see there is a bee who just finds a random pillager at the village, by the way, and then also you can spot that there is a witch trying to steal honey from a beehive. This is behavior that has no basis in Minecraft. No other mob cares about honey besides bees and you, the player. Villagers don't care about honey, pillagers don't care about honey, and witches especially have no way of stealing it. I actually think there is some cool lore maybe here about how the witches are stealing the honey and that's how they brew their potions, but we never see any of that in the base game. You only see it in a trailer, which Mojang confirmed is just pre-rendered stuff they hire an outside company to do, which is why I think that's entirely ridiculous. It just sits weirdly with me, just like how it sits weirdly with me that if we look at the Never update trailer, things are looking entirely fine at first. They're going into a new ruined portal. Look how great it looks. It's slightly stylized, but it's fun. They go into the Never and it looks entirely different. Okay, there's some colorized happening here, but it's all base Minecraft features just in super cool angles. But what I don't like about this trailer is what starts to happen when, first of all, they get destroyed by arrows when they first come in here, which, is that really going to happen? I don't mind so much the ridiculous number of times they die in this trailer, like literally getting one shot by a ghast. That's not what really happens to you in the Never, is it? Like, the Never has a lot of, but it's a way of saying you will die in the Never, it's super dangerous, but look at all the cool things. But then I feel like that trailer message is lost when, as well as showing real things like gold armor and trading with piglins and netherite armor, they start to mix things in like this. Look at this structure right here. This is a soul sand valley, but they're actually, again, this structure looks amazing. It's like a mountain with lava pouring down the side into this amazing looking lava around it. This looks like the Never update that we wish we had, like structures inside each of these new biomes, a form of terrain that actually looks like a mountain where there's mobs coming at you from all over, like it looks like almost like a pillager raid, but for the Never. This looks amazing. This inspires you so much to go to the Never and try and find one of these, because look at the way it all glows together. It's super spooky and amazing, and you know what? What's the end result? You go into the Never, and you realize that only some of these things are real. Is this okay? Is this how you market games? I feel as though sure, sometimes games need to embellish details a little bit. Sure, sometimes games need to just play things up. Like, the death element, I think, is fine. They're just kind of trying to say, you will die here, and they're not showing the slow death where you get burnt to death, etc. I do understand some of those things, but this is just a made-up thing. This isn't even something you could really imagine in your head, because you're never going to be defending the top of a mountain. There is no such structure in the Nether. You're never going to have 3 ghasts and 100 monsters coming at you. It might feel like there are lots of monsters coming at you, but it's never going to feel like you're in a volcano because no such structure exists. And you know what, this might be argued as fine because their big update trailers are the ones they use to get people back into the game. They need to get people who have never played or have not played Minecraft in a long time to play Minecraft again, because that's their whole business model, right? And so, surely this is something they only do for these big update trailers, but no, ever since, even if we look at this one, the Java account move, a fun visit from Dinnerbone, do you know what you're going to start spotting really quickly? That, oh, it's exactly the same thing. What do I mean by that? Well, allow me to show you. what I think is interesting, and in this trailer, which obviously looks really good, I think it's using real blocks again, like glazed terracottas, etc. But as you can see, as Dinnerbone heads into his house, and there's a ghast in there, I mean, that doesn't make too much sense. You can see that in his second house, he opens the iron trapdoor, and lava starts to flow out of there. Not only does the lava flow out in an unrealistic way, both in terms of speed and in terms of the direction that it starts flowing in, but also, lava cannot go through iron doors, and you know, I also, the player can't shut the iron doors. It has to be done via a button, damn it. Also, the player wouldn't need to shut iron doors because they shut themselves. I think I'm being really picky at this point, but it's just like, why do we go through all these efforts to make realistic Minecraft trailers, and then we just say things that aren't really so true? Again, I'm not really entirely sure about it. I mean, I can keep going on with this. In this trailer, there is a green variant of the axolotl. In this trailer, there is lava dropping from dripstone that should be burning. In this one, they give an ally a glow berry, which should lead you to a lush cave according to the way it works, but that's not ally functionality. And then, I mean, do we have to talk about the super duper graphics pack as a whole? Minecraft is really good at making hype trailers, but can we please make them accurate? Can we please, you know, this is my honest take here. As someone who values honesty a lot, I like to be very honest about you, even when it's saying things like, oh yeah, I would like you to subscribe because there's a higher chance of seeing more of my video. Like, when I say things like that, I try my best to be honest, because I think that the world works better when we all just tell each other what we want. Some people like to obfuscate that, and some people want other people's needs to be obfuscated so they can believe the world is perfect, but I think most people would prefer a bit of honesty, and so when it comes to Minecraft trailers, we all know this isn't the biggest, most amazing blockbuster game in the universe, and so why do we have to make up structures to sell the game? Why do we have to make terrain that could never exist in the base game? Even, you know, like the height limit literally isn't this high. You could not make something this high, let alone could this be a thing a random NPC bee finds. Like, why do we have to, obfuscate the game? Why do we have to hide what is really happening when what is actually happening is amazing in its own right? You can make these fun little stories, you can even embellish some details, but I think when we're just making things up, when there are just features that don't make any sense, where players are going to be confused about how you throw swords, or what causes, do they have to keep their beehives safe from witches and pillager raids, etc. When you create these confusions in the player base, I feel as though you haven't done a good. I feel like you've done a bad, and that is why Minecraft lies to you, and I don't think it's very good. I think hinting towards the future might be great if they did any of these things, but how many did we get? Besides maybe better mountains, but not even these level of mountains that they showed in this trailer, which I'm going to keep going back to. Besides, maybe you could argue, like, okay, well, the window shutters aren't a thing, but we have trapped it. You know, like, basically nothing on this list came true. These aren't predictions for future features. These aren't, like, little hints into the future. These aren't even lore things, because, as we know, they're just made by an outside team, and then Minecraft goes, yeah, this is great. As a result of all of that, I feel as though this is something that is a little bit concerning. I think that, as a whole, not lying to people is better than lying to people. I think that if you are to adopt a code for life or for your business or for anything else, in general, it should involve more honesty rather than less. But that's just my take. I hope that you'll enjoy this video regardless, because if you did, that means that you watched slightly more of it, and it means the algorithm gods will like it, and that means it might show more people, which means more of those people will get an ad, and therefore I'll make a little bit of money for this thing that I like to do in my I guess not me in my spare time. This is my full-time job, and thank you for those of you who support it. If you feel like this video is worth your subscription, I'd appreciate that. But if you don't, then that's fine, because I'll see you in the next one anyway, unless this was your last video. In which case, goodbye forever.